Visit thriverealestateeducation.com for free video CE. You really can't go wrong. 24/7, 365. Do your CE right online.
Hello, everyone. Jessica Peterson here today on behalf of Thrive Real Estate Education. I am honored to introduce and interview the amazing Cami Baker here, CamiBaker.com. Say hello to everyone.
Hey, everybody. So honored to be here. I just love Jessica and all that she's doing and all the fabulous people that she introduces me to.
Well, I love connecting good people. Absolutely love to do that. And so today, I know you are out traveling in your RV. I'm here in beautiful, sunny Florida. You know, back in the days, you used to live down this way in Florida, and you're on this big venture to make a difference in people's lives. I honor and value that. And your website, if you go there, you've got the peace sign, which we're going to talk about what that means in the real estate business for people. I actually today wore a little bit of a tie-dyed, shirt vibe for you today. So I got that out just for you, Cami. So what I want all of our listeners to understand and realize how powerful it is to have you today being interviewed. Okay. So from my understanding, you spoke on a stage of 30,000 real estate agents and in the audience, correct?
It was 30,000 entrepreneurs, which included real estate agents, but yeah, 30,000 people for sure.
I love that. Thank you. That's incredible. You also were top 5% of real estate agents in the nation for several years, right?
Every year that I was playing in the real estate industry, I haven't sold real estate in probably 5 or 6 years, but I've been coaching and mentoring around it.
Yep. And I love how you've shifted over into coaching and mentoring with passion. So today we're going to discuss something that I bet over 90% of real estate agents would not even know about, and that is charitable real estate. So Cami, can you please go ahead and educate us what charitable real estate is, and then we're going to talk about how this could positively impact each real estate agent's business and lives in their community. So can you please share a little bit more?
Absolutely. And I would go so far as to guarantee that 99% of realtors and nonprofits are not familiar with how this works. There are 2 million realtors and 1.3 million nonprofits. And of the $400 billion that is donated to nonprofits every year historically, only 2% of it has come from donations of real estate, which is still $8 billion, but it's a very, very small percentage. So about a year and a half ago, I'm out going to conferences. I love to learn. I'm as much of a student as I am a teacher. And I'm in this conference. It's all about purpose and nonprofits working with for-profits. And I hear charitable real estate. And for someone like myself, who back when I had my 64.5 Mustang convertible, and when I was with Remax, I brought the hot air balloon and I did these car shows and gave the money to a horse rescue in my area. I've been doing a lot of nonprofit stuff wrapped around my real estate. And then I started teaching people what's called cause marketing. So for the last few years, really focused on real estate companies, financial service companies, Main Street USA businesses, how when they partner with nonprofit, 87% of consumers, customers, clients will choose you over the competition when they know that you're on purpose and you're socially responsible. So I heard about charitable real estate, and right about that time, just a couple months later, the pandemic hit. And the good thing about all of my speaking engagements, all the clients I was working with putting together fundraisers, all these things just completely fell away. And now with a clean slate and an open agenda, I did nothing but learn about charitable real estate. I spent a good solid year really delving into it. And ultimately, it's been around since 1917. United States government put it in play. Hey, Mr. Philanthropist, Mrs. Philanthropist, if you will donate a piece of property to a 501c3, we will give you tax benefits that you can't get anywhere else, including no capital gains tax for just one. But the reason why we all have never heard of it, the reason it's never been taught in real estate school, et cetera, is because at the end of the day, 99% of nonprofits, if you offer them a check for $500 or a property for $200,000, they will take the $500 check all day long because they either A, have it written in their rules that they don't accept non-cash assets, or B, they just don't know what to do with it. And even if someone with your success and seasoned professionalism are on their board, a lot of these donations actually require cash because mortgages need to be paid off. Maybe they need to be cleaned up. Maybe they need to be held for 6 months. In other words, they just can't do it. They can, but they don't, and they won't. So I found a 501c3 whose sole purpose, the only reason they exist, is to accept these gifts of real estate, partner with any one of the 1.3 million nonprofits. And that's important because there are a handful, kind of like Cars for Kids, that if you donate your property, you actually cannot get the proceeds yourself. You have to actually give them the proceeds. So it's really important to know that our 501c3 is one that will give any of the nonprofits the proceeds, and they also will pay a real estate agent a full commission.
So, okay, so let's back up for a moment. Thank you for educating us a little bit more about this. So anyone listening to this, what would you say was your secret sauce or tips to be top 5% of the agents in the United States? Like, what was your secret sauce, anyone listening, that is valuable information you could share with them to implement today? And then I want to talk more about your passion for supporting nonprofits and how it could actually elevate a real estate agent in their business. So let's talk further. What would be your top advice on how you made it to top 5%?
The biggest question that I would get when I was coaching real estate agents before I learned about charitable real estate is, Cami, what do I say when people ask me my commission? What do I say when I go knock on that door that's a for sale by owner? People get so hung up on the words that they are using in the script. The real question is, who should I be being? How should I say those words? So the biggest piece of information that I could give would be to actually get coached by someone who's been there and done that. I was coached by the Mike Ferry organization for 5 years at $1,000 a month, worth every penny, because it wasn't just about real estate. It wasn't just about contracts. It was about body language and where to sit at the table and how to knock on the door so that you're not intimidating, and how to handle objections, not from the words you use, but from thinking 3 steps ahead. And who are you being? Are you coming to them with compassion, being a contribution to the conversation? So, regardless of what you do in real estate, you've got to get a mentor. People would ask me all the time for 15 years in real estate, hey, I'm going to get my license. What company should I be with? And what kind of commission split should I ask for? And I would always say, it doesn't matter what company you're with or what the commission split is. If you don't have someone mentoring you to teach you the ropes, not just about contracts, but about human nature and conversations and communicating and collaborating, then you can learn it on your own. But why reinvent the wheel? Why go out and learn from your trial and error when people like Jessica, people like myself and others can actually help you get past the hurdles now, not 6 years from now?
That is so fascinating you say that. So your number one advice, what I'm hearing, is invest in yourself and your business. Hire a coach or a mentor, right?
Absolutely. One of the things I share from stage is that I'm sober. And, when I needed to get sober, that was my first experience of getting coached and asking for help and going to someone who already had that which I needed and wanted and desired. And I learned very quickly that, we have to put our ego in our back pocket when we want to, whether we want to go from employee to entrepreneur or brand new real estate agent to top 5% in the first year, and you can, or getting sober, anything, you got to find someone who's already done that which you're wanting to do and have them help you.
Oh, I so agree with that. It's fascinating we're having this conversation. I was asked to give input and insight in a book on what I wish I would have known when I was younger in business. And I said, my number one piece of advice is I wish I would have hired a mentor or coach, and hire, like you said, the right one, right? And this is not a pitch to hire you or myself or what. This is just genuine. find the right person. I've had people come to me, I say, I'm not the right fit for you to hire. This person is, or this person is. I love connecting and really seeing who is the right fit. I firmly believe in that because when I was younger, I didn't know or understand that concept. And even if it was, looking back, somewhat mentioned maybe to me, maybe there weren't as many coaches back then, I don't know. But maybe if it was even mentioned to me, maybe I thought, why would I pay money for that? Maybe it was just never that real, true understanding. Hands down today, I mean, I don't know where I would be without my coaches and mentors. And like you said, I have them in each area of my life. I wrote about it in my book, one of my books I'm giving away right now, createtheperfectday.com, the 4 areas of life to have balance. And look for those coaches, look for those mentors in each of those areas. I mean, we all can learn. I'm always learning too, right?
Well, if I can just expand upon that, I've been interviewed hundreds of times for lots of different things, the book, just all different things. And they always ask, what's that one piece of advice for anyone, entrepreneurs, anyone? And to your point, change your playgrounds and playmates. Now, I learned that in a 12-step program, change your playgrounds and playmates. You are a culmination of the top 5 people that you hang out with. If you're sitting on a bar stool with people that are drinking, guess what? You're sitting on a bar stool drinking, et cetera, et cetera. So when you say you have a different coach, mentor in different areas of your life, what you've basically done is surrounded yourself with people who have what you want and can help you get there faster than trying to figure it out on your own. So, even if you're at a place where, 1,000 or 5,000 or $10,000 coach isn't your thing, God, at least change your playgrounds and playmates, meaning are you watching the news or are you watching something inspirational? Are you listening to rock music that you've enjoyed your whole life? Are you listening maybe to something inspirational with a different kind of context? In other words, it can be something simple and free that you do right now, but just be conscious of what garbage in, garbage out, good in, good out.
So I know we weren't even planning on talking about this. I do believe this is super valuable because I once invested for a coach for 30 days over 20 grand. And that actually, I will say, was the worst coach I ever had. Okay. So if you're listening to this saying, oh, I've done that, been there, done that, it was horrible. There are amazing coaches out there. I mean, there's been some coaches that are truly amazing. One thing I've learned, a mistake I made in the past, is I would hire a coach based on whom I liked. It's more than just who you like, right? I'll never forget, my husband came to me and said, why are you hiring this coach when, I mean, I'm not saying I'm better than someone else. It's just, my level of where I was at was here and they're down here. So why am I hiring them, right? So I do believe it should be of, a combination of things on looking for hiring the right coach or mentor. I want to hear your insight on that, Cami. What do you have to say?
Well, you need someone that will grow you, that you will allow to let grow you, that you will be open to, a coach tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. A friend tells you what you want to hear and will keep you broke. A coach that people who pay attention, people who invest are invested. And, when you shift from getting free advice, and just make sure, you pay attention to who you get your advice from. So from your point, I'll give you a little story around that. There was a woman I was going to hire about 2 years ago for $25,000. And I had invested $25,000 in a coach before. And I did that because I knew when I paid that kind of money, when I invested in myself like that, I was going to show up. I was going to do the work because I want to get my money's worth. And I also did that because I knew I was going to be a coach and mentor. And how could I possibly live in the hypocrisy of telling you need to invest in yourself, but I'm not willing to. So I've invested probably $300,000 in the last 15 years or so on coaches and all that stuff. But this one woman, when I gave her a $5,000 down payment, immediately she was arrogant. She was crass. She would tell me to call her and she wouldn't show up. She would tell me she would do something that she didn't do. And I sent her a message and I said, anyone that I hire as a coach, I'm going to emulate. I want to emulate how they treat me and teach me and coach me. That's how I'm going to teach and train and coach my people. And frankly, I can't treat people the way that you've been treating me.
That's powerful. So So be really clear on whom you want to have in your life, right? The mentors, the coaches, be extremely clear, because that's something I wish I would have invested in sooner, right? That's absolutely something I wish I would have invested in sooner in my life and in that journey. So that's some really powerful information right there.
Well, and when
Um,
it comes to charitable real estate,
mhm,
there's not a whole lot of coaches.
mm-mm,
There's not a whole lot of people. As
mm-mm,
we said, 99%. I I I Googled the most successful women in real estate because I would love to have a mentor. I would love to have somebody that I can brainstorm with that is a woman that's successful in real estate. And I found the most successful woman in real estate on the cover of Forbes magazine is Dottie Herman in New York City. Found out she has a radio show. I called in. I got on the phone with her and I mentioned this. Of course, she had never heard of it because the reason, once again, is and her and so many people sit on boards, the American Cancer Society, veterans groups, animal groups, all these people who own real estate companies and sit on boards. Just because they're in real estate and they love nonprofit doesn't mean they understand this. They don't, because nonprofits can't, it's not that they can't, it's that they choose not to take the real estate. So the way that we have this working is this entity that we're working with, Realty Gift Fund, they remove all the risk for the nonprofits. It doesn't matter if it's your local church or Joel Osteen having 1 million people watch every Sunday. It doesn't matter how big or small. As a matter of fact, they do transactions for Fidelity Charitables, which is the largest nonprofit in this country. They bring in $9 billion a year and they don't do their own real estate transactions because people who are really successful understand stay in your wheelhouse. If you don't know how to do it, then don't. Why would you spend third party? So there is an awakening happening right now. Nonprofits are understanding. Ooh, and I'm interviewing tomorrow Dr. Russell James, who has done he has looked at 1.1 million tax returns from 200,000 nonprofits over a 5-year period. And when he looks at the ones who only take cash versus the ones who are open to receiving non-cash assets, stocks, businesses, racehorses, real estate, the ones who take non-cash assets grow 6 times the endowment. So if you normally as a nonprofit bring in 100,000, you let the people that already support you without even finding anyone new, just letting them know that you accept real estate or that you can benefit from real estate, you'll bring in 600,000. You normally have a budget of $1 million, you'll have a $6 million endowment just from letting people know that you can benefit from real estate. And that's what we're doing. We are educating, informing, and certifying real estate agents to understand how this works so that they can simply inform and educate their community. You don't have to give me $20. You don't need to come sit in on this fundraising committee for 3 to 6 months. All you have to do is let people know, because there are people every day trying to donate real estate and they're being told, no, no, thank you. We don't do that. We can't do that. Thanks, but we'd rather have cash. They'll say, go sell it and give us the cash. And there's a lot of reasons why they're shooting themselves in the foot. By the time that person pays capital gains tax and lots of other things we don't have time to get into, they are losing hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars by giving that advice to the donor.
so thank you for sharing that. Okay, so with all of your knowledge and expertise, being a top producer in real estate, being a coach, you've been there, done that, continuously growing and expanding. What do you foresee being the biggest challenge for real estate agents? I mean, so let me back up for a minute. I spoke with a dear friend of mine. We're at 2 different companies, doesn't matter, but he said, Jessica, he goes, I am seeing all this flood of people becoming real estate agents right now, right? Which is great. He goes, but at the same time, very few are doing business, right? So he goes, I know you're doing business and you're doing well, but majority are not. So what would you say the biggest challenges that agents are facing, and how to really overcome that right now? Because times are changing.
Well, when I was hot and heavy in real estate, that year there were 7.5 million transactions. and there were 2.5 million realtors, average of 3 deals per realtor. When 2008 hit and it got crazy much slower, there were 4.5 million transactions and 1.5 million realtors, 3 deals per realtor on average. The old 80-20 rule is now, in my opinion, 95-5. 5% do 95% of the business, whether it's real estate, network marketing, insurance, car sales, financial service provider. My God, the market is flooded with financial service people too. So I could give you 3 big ones, but I'm going to stick with right now. Have a unique sales proposition. Be the one that stands out. Be the one who does something no one else does. You cannot go to a networking event, virtual or physical, where you're the only real estate agent. Even if there's 3 people in the room, one of the other 2 has a license, whether they use it or not. Like, people are just realtors, like everywhere you go. 8 or 10 realtors, 12 network marketers, 15 financial service people. So to have a unique sales proposition, to really be different, to not be the same one. Hey, I'm a realtor. I give you the best business. I'm really good. I return phone calls. Please send me your referral. First of all, they're full of crap. They don't return your phone call. But the fact is, have something unique. And charitable real estate is so unique that even the most successful real estate person on the planet doesn't know how it works, nor do all the people who sit in the lead position of the nonprofits. They've heard weird stories about how there was a contaminated property or whatever. All that stuff is completely irrelevant with what we're doing. What we're doing is removing all the risk and giving them more than 90% of the proceeds that come from the sale. So to answer your question, be unique, stand out, have that unique sales proposition that also gets you in front of the high net worth people. When you're talking about being able to give them tax advantages they've never had, being able to leave a legacy, instead of taking cash out of their pocket, when they can give them a property, ooh boy, now we're talking about leaving legacy. And I know that the company you're working with is really intent on leaving legacy. So we talk with this about the property donor can leave legacy, the individual real estate agent can leave legacy, the company can leave legacy. Shoot, the whole community can come together. I teach people how to put together cause marketing campaigns so that that financial service person and that attorney and that title company and the dog walker and the network marketer, they can all come together and promote charitable gifting of real estate and double their profitability, because once again, 87% of consumers will choose you over the competition because you're doing something yummy good in the world, and we help you promote it.
Okay, so just to clarify, everyone, I know this isn't a pitch or anything for your charitable real estate. I know you're passionate about it, and I was trained in the charitable real estate, so of course I'm a fan of it. I'll go ahead and say that. So to your point, I'm going to add something. I love that unique selling proposition. I have spoken over the years with real estate agents as I've coached them. Okay, what is your pitch, or what is? And they say, oh, my unique selling is I care. That is the most common answer I get. And they're like, well, aren't I the only real estate agent that cares? You're not the only one that says it. I mean, so it's really not that unique, to your point, right? Mm-hmm. It's not really standing out by any means. So just as an example, charitable real estate is one way to be unique. What else that I love that you and I have had conversations is you can even be even so niched or nicheed, or everybody has their own way of saying it. Even within that aspect of it, right? Because you and I had that conversation of nonprofits. I have nonprofits I'm a big fan of and love to support. What I am working on in my area, as well as I am working with others who will be niched in charities in different areas or markets, right? I'm passionate about kids, and, I have, many different causes I support. That's neither here or there. I'm not here to rant and rave all the ones I do. But there's some I'm not actively involved in. So I want to collaborate and pass on that business to others, right? So even being niched within the charitable real estate doesn't mean you service all nonprofits.
Well, and not only that, but I'll take it in a completely different direction. Just because you're a charitable real estate agent doesn't mean that all you're taking is listings that are being donated. For example, I love sharing the vision of there you are standing in front of your property. Let's call it a residential house, and your for sale sign with your company's name on it, just like it's always been. But there's a sign right next to it now. And on that sign, it says 100% of the proceeds from the sale of this house go to benefit nonprofits worldwide. And it could even say the name of your local food bank or your local church or your local veterans group, whoever it is that you support. And imagine it's 5 p.m. and it's a beautiful sunny day. People are out walking their dogs. They're driving home from work, etc. And there's that big van with the media logo on it of your local TV station. And there's the local broadcaster with a big microphone interviewing Jessica about how is it that $252,000 is going to go to our local Boys and Girls Club from the sale of this property. And as you're being interviewed and all these people see it and you're on Facebook Live and your friends are sharing it and posting it, those 500 people in that community, they're not going to be donating their house, but they're going to want to know who you are. They're going to want to work with the person who is getting that kind of exposure for their property too. And when you're on that TV station, guess what? There's 1,500 nonprofits in a 10-mile radius of where you're at. They're going to get wind of it. They're going to reach out to you and ask you, hey, you're helping them get 252,000. Can you help my nonprofit too? Mm-hmm. So in other words, there's so many ways to leverage this. If we don't get too hung up on just our nonprofit of choice and really think about, how can I actually get my foot in the door of the mayor or, the guy that owns that big company that's doing 1,000 people relocated every year coming and going to work for that company. What if I could be the relocation department for that company? I could never get my foot in the door to talk to him, but I can now because I find out he likes veterans. So I call him to talk about that, and one thing leads to another. And now I've got 500 deals a year because I was smart enough to leverage something that's unique and different.
I completely agree with that. So what are some of your other favorite niches out there besides charitable real estate? I would love to hear that.
Well, when I was in real estate hardcore, because I was coached by the Mike Ferry organization, we learned how to prospect. And my favorite deals back then, I'm just going to throw it right out. Please don't throw up in your mouth, whoever's listening, but it was expireds. And so many people won't call an expired listing, and we don't have time to get off on that. But a lot of the time now, I talk about the 3 places that I got the majority of my business was expireds, for sale by owners, and non-owner occupied. And now I share with agents, look, you can learn how to prospect, you can learn how to handle objections, you can learn how to handle that irate expired or that for sale by owner know-it-all. You can do all that kind of stuff, or you can simply have a fun, engaging conversation with anyone and everyone about the charitable gifting of real estate and how $550,000 is the average amount that comes from one piece of real estate. There is nothing to object to about this. Inform, educate, help them understand it for sure. But, if I were back in real estate again now, and my vision and my purpose on this planet, you don't want me sitting in one town with a 25-mile radius listing property. That's not where I belong. I need to be out in my Magic Mike, in my RV, hula hooping on the top of it and visiting different real estate offices and nonprofits so that I can share this message. And if I were back in real estate again, this is exactly what I would do. I would be talking to everyone I know about charitable real estate, not because they're necessarily going to donate a property, not because they run a nonprofit, but because it's information, it's education. And to that point, right now, I'm being introduced to the owners of your company, to the owners of other companies, to people who are big decision makers around big real estate training because of this conversation. And that's what I'm teaching realtors to do. Leverage the conversation to get in front of who you want to get in front of, not just the nonprofits, but the company owners and the big decision makers. You want to go speak at the Rotary Club or the Lions Club? You want to speak at women's entrepreneurial groups. You want to get free PR and be interviewed on TV and radio. Man, there ain't no better way than charitable real estate.
Okay, so we covered a lot, and then as we wrap up, I want you to share the title of your book, the name of your book, to all of our listeners, Cami. So what is it?
Well, Mingle to Millions, the art and science of building business relationships and mastering referrals, where I teach the difference between networking and net webbing, is the book that came out 4 years ago. But I'm also writing another book called The Secret Niche: How Real Estate Funds Nonprofits by the Billions. But if you want a copy of Mingle to Millions, I'll send you a free PDF of it if you like. I love to
Wow.
help people understand the difference between networking, which is random activity that wastes time. Net webbing is planned strategy that saves time and actually gets you somewhere. If you don't have a strategy and you're just going to networking events, virtual or physical, you're just wasting your time.
Well, thank you for that generous offer. See, that's what's so amazing about Thrive Real Estate Education is we're bringing people together. We're all supporting and uplifting and education to keep us as thrivers, right? Okay, so Cami, in that book, what really stood out to me, I thought was the coolest story ever. And part of your success was that moment an agent observed you, and I commend that agent for in such a loving, kind way, observed you and bought this suit, right? But she claimed it was hers and was just giving it away because she didn't want to hurt your feelings. But she's like, oh, I've got this suit. I want to give it to you. I don't want it anymore, blah, blah, blah. So anyhow, that suit was your power suit. You wore it like every day and everywhere, and it boosted that confidence in you. And then you found out later she actually bought that suit. I
At the
thought that was
Salvation Army.
at Salvation Army. I just thought that was the most touching thing ever, that she stood up and did that for you. And that suit, you said, actually took your confidence and then your business to a whole new level, right?
Absolutely. And actually there's another little tip for any real estate agent that wants to boost their confidence. I had a mentor in network marketing who I heard an old tape from him from years and years ago. And he said, somebody said to him one day, I sure do like that suit. And he said, yeah, you should have seen me yesterday. He said, don't change your suit, change your audience. Get one nice, good, something that makes you feel really, really successful. And the great thing about real estate is if you're doing it right every day, you're in front of different people. And I had that red power suit, and every time I went on a listing appointment, I put that suit on. So 3, 4, 5 times a week, I was wearing the same suit, but I was always in front of somebody different. And just because I was wearing it, I felt so confident. And I would tell them as soon as we signed the listing agreement, I would say, okay, now that you've met me in the suit, now that we're all in love and we're all kumbaya, I said, from now on, you're going to see me in shorts and halter tops. They're like, that's fine. You know? So,
It gives you that confidence, right? So that's the thing. So as we wrap up, I know you have the peace symbol. What do the different branches in the peace represent, Cami?
So in a charitable gift of real estate, there are 3 key players, stakeholders, if you will. One is the property donor, one is the nonprofit, one is the real estate agent. And so as I was drawing it out, when I put those on 3 of the points of the peace sign, I realized that those 3 pieces have existed for a long time. And Realty Gift Fund, my partners, have been doing deals, but they've been doing them one at a time, kind of like people are starving or they're dying of thirst, and they've been bringing the water 1 bucket at a time. But when people get involved with us, with the real agents of change, now we're teaching how to have a pipeline of ever flowing, flooding funding coming to them. So that last line in the middle of the peace sign is the real agents of change. It's getting certified as a real estate, charitable real estate specialist. It's creating a charitable real estate division in your company so that the property donor, the nonprofit, and the real estate agent can all come together for the circle, which is charitable gifting of real estate, funding nonprofits by the billions.
I love it. Okay, so CamiBaker.com, anyone can go there, connect with you for your book, see your great branding, learn more about the certification, which I know is CamiBaker.com/certification. So anything else you have to add for all of our amazing thrivers right here, Cami? Anything else to add?
Send me an email to cami@camibaker.com. Let me know that you saw me here, and I'll make sure that you get the PDF of the book. And once again, what is something you can do today to change your playgrounds and playmates? We all can level up. Last night, I was sitting in on another group of wonderful people who are talking about, once again, kind of the stuff I talk about, that it's not just the words, it's who you're being. So just think of, what is that one book that you've been meaning to order? What's a video that you can watch from Tony Robbins or Jessica Peterson or anyone else that turns you on that can really just keep you inspired? There's plenty of stuff to complain about in the world, and you'll never hear it come out of my mouth, because garbage in, garbage out, good in, good out. What are you putting in that's good so that good comes out?
Okay, awesome. Okay, Cami, thank you for being amazing. And thank you to all our amazing thrivers out there. Don't forget to go ahead and comment, subscribe, share, and keep on thriving. Have an amazing wow day. Bye-bye.
Visit thriverealestateeducation.com for free video CE. You really can't go wrong. 24/7, 365.